everyone, and welcome to the Calyx. I am your host, Becca Scott, or rather your keeper of arcane lore for the evening, and I'm so excited to introduce these guests that I have for the next 4 weeks. It's gonna be fantastic. I will be guiding them through a macabre and mysterious tale to which maybe they'll get to the bottom of, or maybe they'll die horribly in the process. We'll see. I want to give a huge thanks to Chaosium Inc. They are the sponsors of this show. Shout out, yes, hello. They have our eternal gratitude for sponsoring. And I want to tell you that you can purchase the scenario that I will be running for the next 4 weeks. Doors to Darkness. If you're watching on Twitch or on YouTube, you can find a link in the description below, and if you click on that link, it will make us look good. You can use the code Calyx S3 down there, Season 3, which is beginning now, and that'll get you 10% off checkout. You can only use it one time, and I have to say, Genius Loci is tonight's scenario, and it is by Brian Courtemanche. And Doors to Darkness is the signature setting in the 1920s New England through tales of eldritch dread, as you will see tonight. All right, that is that. And now we must meet our fabulous players. I'm so excited to show them to you, to have them say hello, and then for you to meet their wonderful characters. Let's bring in, hello, friends.
Hello.
Hi.
We're all here.
Hi. We have, let's just go around, introduce yourself, where people can find you, what sort of things you do, and tell us just a little bit about your character. Let's start with Paula.
Oh boy, I'm first. Hi, my name's Paula Deming. I make board game sketch comedy called Things Get Dicey, which you can find on YouTube or on Twitter at Things Get Dicey. I also stream right here on Twitch board games and video games under my name, twitch.tv/Paula Deming. I also have glasses that are highly reflective. And those are, do you like creepy stuff? I bet you do, because you're here. I have a podcast called Death by Monsters, a podcast all about monsters, mysteries, and the unknown that takes a bit of a comedic look at the paranormal. Download it, suckers. Thanks. I'm playing. Please, we appreciate you. Peterson Langley. I am a doctor of medicine, a psychologist, work freelance occasionally as a medical examiner. If you need an autopsy done, I will do it. I believe in science above all else. There is a logical explanation for everything. And I went to Princeton, so yes, that does make me better than you probably.
Bridgett.
Hello. Becca, I love you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you're
here.
So
excited. Hi, everyone. My name is Bridgett Jeffries. I love horror tabletop role-playing games, so much that I actually built a company called Symphony Entertainment. So if you love any type of horror tabletop role-playing game, check us out. That's at www.symphonyentertainment.com. If you would like to hear me ramble or try to catch up with 2 other awesome podcasters, I am a co-host with the 2-time Emmy Award-winning podcast, the Miskatonic University podcast. You can check that out at www.mu-podcast.com. And last but not least, we're getting ready to play 7th edition Call of Cthulhu. If you would like to write 7th edition Call of Cthulhu, holler at your girl. I am the newest community ambassador with Chaosium, specializing in the Miskatonic repository. So if you have a scenario that you want to write and you don't know where to get started, or you're overwhelmed, or you're intimidated, or you're just like, email me at bridget@chaosium.com, and I can get you plugged in with all of the amazing resources to get you from watching this to actually being published.
Hooray! That was
That's
wonderful.
So cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, your blog posts are incredible, all about creating scenarios, creating safe spaces. You've written so many wonderful things, so people should Google you, check you out, find your blogs and articles for Miskatonic. And we met on Miskatonic University, the podcast, and I was like, who are you? I love you. I need you in my life.
You fell in love with my laugh. I fell in love with your energy. It was just wonderful.
You do have the best laugh. And last but not least, Gina!
Wait, you didn't say your character.
Oh, yes. Tell us about Millie Green.
And also, I feel like you should have gone last, Bridget.
Sorry, Gina. Too late now.
Can you all adopt me? Sorry, I am playing Millie Green. She is an African-American woman from Baton Rouge. She is a con artist who's really big into the oral traditions of history. So you'll see a little bit more about her as she goes about, but she's basically the one that'll do all the things that the other characters might not want to do due to legal reasons, ethical issues, things of that nature. But she's definitely a team player. She's just here to find out the answers to everything.
And Gina.
Well, hi, I'm Gina DeVivo. You've probably seen me random places all over the internet, but currently, if you are into comedy podcasts and or D&D, basically D&D comedy is my jam. So you can check me out with some amazing, lovely people such as Xander Jeanneret and Vince Casso and Kaylee Bray and Sage Ryan and just incredible human beings. And Abria Iyengar and Anthony Carboni, just beautiful human beings over at Failed Save on the Pixel Circus channel. And if you like Star Trek, you know, that small iconic show and
Never
everything.
heard of it.
We do a Star Trek RPG show over at Q Times. So go check it out. Mondays and Fridays, those are the times I'm usually on the internet. But tonight, I'm playing Jo Reeves. She is an archaeologist by trade, and most of her digs and excursions are funded by her very close female friend, which we won't name for publicity reasons. But she's a gambler. She's a bit of a risk taker. She'll cut you with her butterfly knife or, you know, take your money. But history is her main delight, and she has encountered several strange things, so she tends to find artifacts that go bump in the night and keep them safe from people. But I am back in town and ready to see all of my fellow investigators.
All right. Excellent. These are three fabulous players. And without further ado, are we ready to play some Call of Cthulhu?
Yes.
Let's do the thing.
Yes.
Okay. All three of you feel a breeze against your cheek and your eyes blink open. You look out over the horizon. It's the late afternoon. You're atop a treeless hill. Your long skirts ruffle in the breeze and you feel the tightness of the corset that you're wearing around your middle, but something else is hugging you close. There are ropes holding you motionless against a thick wooden pole at your back. Your hands are tied behind it, and you feel the presence of your two companions to your left and right, or right and right, relatively. You know them, and you feel their fear as palpably as your own. All three of you are facing west, the direction of the setting sun, and as you look down from the wooden pedestal you're standing on, you hear the men below making mumbled pronouncements and a priest chanting some cheap prayer with no feeling behind these words as they bring a torch to touch the brush and bramble piled at your feet. And the heat begins to mount below you as it is set ablaze, and you feel the sweat break out on your brow. Do you cry out? What do you say?
I spit on the man below me.
Witch. She's a witch. See, that's why you have to burn.
Does it feel? I struggle against the ropes. Does it itch?
Very much so. You've been pulling and pulling. Your wrists are ragged with the struggle of it.
Let's say call over to Jo. Sure would be nice if you had that butterfly knife now.
Well, if you could just reach in my pocket, I might be able to do some fun things with it. But as for now, I can't exactly bend that way anymore.
Looking over the faces of their accusers, is there anyone that I recognize? Because this would not be the first time that she's been accused of witchcraft. Just curious if these are new people or are these my same old regular accusers from my childhood?
You feel something familiar and alien at the same time. You know the essence of who these men are because they're all the same. They're all accusers that are afraid of women with power. And as you look into their eyes so full of hate, the breeze brushes the wind, the fire is swept up around you, as all three of you open your eyes again, and you awake in a train car. Not wearing those disgusting skirts and corsets.
Yeah.
Are we together?
Yes.
Oh.
Is there a window we can open? Is anyone else warm in here?
You slide the
There's
window
some.
open as you see the Massachusetts hills. You are on a train from Boston to the small town of Danvers. The year is 1925. And you feel as though you just awoke from a dream that was several hundred years before that. You all have been assigned a task. Of course, you know you are part of the Sorority of the Unordinary. This is an organization that is full of mystery, full of secrecy. Everything you know about the organization is what you need to know, and mostly you only know the paid freelancers that you've met on individual missions, such as the one you're on now. You get all of your dossiers from a female voice that calls herself the Dispatcher. And aside from that, you have met before. Each of you has been on some sort of investigation or mission with each other before, but this is the first time the three of you are working together.
Millie, why did you let me finish the whiskey?
Well, my, that was actually your decision. I made my recommendations. I can't help you if you choose not to listen to them. Might I ask you a question that may be considered personal?
What?
Did you just have a nightmare that you were being set on fire, or is that just exclusive to me?
Oh,
I had one.
Shoot.
Did
Dang
we all
it.
have that same dream?
Yeah. I thought it
how
was
very
just the sugar dissolving in my gut.
Bridgett, describe to me Millie, her demeanor, what she's wearing, how she feels about being on this train.
Yeah, so Millie is a fair-complected African-American female, but she always is dressed appropriately. She looks nice, probably whatever the Louisiana fashion is at that time. Millie is very laid back. She speaks slowly. She's never in a hurry. She's constantly unbothered by anything. But this one got her attention because she came out of that and she's looking at her two comrades who are waking up from a nightmare at the same time. And so she's a little unnerved right now. So she's probably stretching, clenching, tightening her fingers and stretching them out, just trying to calm herself down.
And Joe?
Joe, slowly realizing that the nightmare was shared and not just a night of debauchery, sort of stands up from the train seat and stretches out. She is wearing a very wrinkled, what would be traditionally a man's suit. So she's got quite crumpled trousers and a waistcoat and a pocket watch and lots of linens, and lots of layers, and her hair is in a traditional fingerwave style, but has definitely been not tended to in many days. And she stretches and then digs into her big leather bag and brings out a flask, and then pops back down and just undoes it and goes, "Welcome home." And just takes a big swig. Woo! All right. Corsets, burning, men. Let's continue.
What are the doctor's thoughts as Peterson realizes this dream was shared between the three of you?
This is highly unusual. Don't think I've ever experienced it before. And Peterson will dig into their bag and open and pull out a journal and make a note of it and note the time, pulling out a pocket watch, again also wearing what is traditionally a man's suit, though you may not be able to tell upon first glance the gender of Peterson. But in a man's suit, will pull out of the little pocket a pocket watch and note the time of the dream and make a note. you assume that the doctor has very poor eyesight, because even behind the glasses, squinting and adjusting, and actually before writing down, they will take the glasses off and jot down their notes, and then
I subtly take out my own pocket watch and just check the work to make sure that the time is correct for Peterson, knowing that the glasses are sometimes a hindrance, and just does a quick nod and like, yep, she got it.
Peterson,
and then
the time you wrote in your journal is 1:45 p.m.
Thank you.
Joe, you may or may not want to clarify.
Honestly, who knows if my watch is wound, so the time on the paper is what I've got, so it turns out I didn't do too bad.
Excellent.
1:45 p.m. A strange time, really, for all of us to have fallen asleep, though I suppose we were probably lulled by the movement of the train.
I do find trains quite soothing.
Well, might I inquire, have either of you experienced such a dream before?
No.
Not
Do you
with
mean
others.
a shared dream, or specifically the contents of this particular dream?
No, I'd wager to guess that a shared dream is fairly unique, Doctor. I'm talking about the burning at the stake dream. Is that a reoccurring dream, or was this the first time for you?
I have never, though I have many dreams of crowds being angry at me, I think that is actually an expression of stress and a feeling of inadequacy, but I've never had one where I've been burned at a stake before. No. Joe.
Not quite like that. No. Pitchforks. Chased. But never quite. And she goes and she kind of rubs her wrists where she remembers how itchy they were and how vivid it was, and she just kind of like, never quite like that.
Joe, as you look down at your wrists, you see beside you on the cushion the letter that the Sorority of the Unordinary received, and each of you have read. It is the reason for this latest mission. The letter reads... Let's get it for everyone at home.
Yeah. Who do you want to read it? Or do you want to?
Go ahead, Joe. Kick us off. Feel free to popcorn if you want.
Popcorn?
You could pass it around.
Oh. Is that what it's called? I've never heard that before.
I've never heard that phrase either.
I'm
Learn
sorry.
something new.
You didn't have a
I've
7th grade
heard it.
teacher that said we're going to popcorn?
We're going to popcorn
We're gonna
this, or like a
popcorn.
Bible verse or something in Sunday
Becca
school,
Scott,
yes.
do we need to bring it into every RPG that I was homeschooled?
Oh no! I'm so sorry. I always forget and I always accidentally call you out.
All right. I know we've read it 100 times, but let's read it again. Okay. Dear sorority, as you know, I have recently committed myself to the state hospital at Danvers for a little mental recuperation after my most recent foray into the supernatural. Oh, okay, you finish. Hang on. I just need to stick my head out the train window.
Supernatural. Peterson will take the letter and adjust. I've made a terrible error in selecting Danvers. I am in great physical, mental, and spiritual peril here. There is a wrongness about this place, much like the wrongness in our dream, perhaps. They will not let me leave. I must sneak this letter out to you as they read the mail here. Please come and recover me from this dreadful place. Would be wise for you to bring companions. I'm sorry, I've hogged the whole letter. Did you want to read any of it, Millie?
Oh, no, darling, you're fine. Please continue.
Sure, it would be wise for you to bring companions, as coming here alone is a mistake. Your friend, Larry Croswell. Who snuck the letter out? Did we get any information about who snuck the letter out for Larry?
You only have this letter, and if you would have tried to communicate by calling the hospital, you would have gotten the runaround of just the what do you call it? A headmaster, superintendent of the asylum is not able to get back to you. But of course, it is a place where there are patients and people from the public can enter the building, so you've taken it upon yourself to go there. And
How
we
did
should
we
point
discover
out
the letter?
Through the
who was the first
dispatcher.
to receive it? The dispatcher was.
Yeah, well, actually, first I wanted to point out that Peterson had to lower his glasses entirely from his face. It seemed not exactly fit to his face. What are Peterson's pronouns, if you don't mind?
Peterson doesn't mind. She, her, he, him, or they, them, and any of them are fine.
Great.
Thank you for asking.
Interesting that the glasses seem to not necessarily fit upon Peterson's face as prescribed. So, the recipient of the letter, does anyone have a personal connection to Larry Croswell? And as you think about that, let me give you a little more description of Larry. You're all familiar with this person because this is a patron of the Sorority of the Unordinary in the past, someone that is also interested in the supernatural, also an investigator of sorts, and you're loosely connected with in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
He's also a writer and currently an asylum captive. He calls himself the Bard of the Bazaar. He is a respected chronicler of New England superstition and folklore. His book signings at libraries and bookshops draw a small crowd of avid readers who share his interests in ghosts and supernatural things. But his explorations have taken him to places that maybe he wasn't ready to go. He's seen things he maybe wasn't ready to see. And if you spoke to him before he committed himself, he probably wouldn't have gone into much detail about them. He just said he needed some time to quietly recuperate. And as he said in the letter, he made a grave mistake in choosing Danvers. Does anyone have a personal connection to Larry?
Yeah. When I was first starting out in my career, which is quite difficult. Turns out hard to travel as a woman in the 20s. When I first encountered my first sort of mysterious outing with an artifact, it scared me away from archaeology for a bit. And I discovered one of his books. And so I was one of the few people that went to the books signings, and it made me feel a little less alone. And then I out researched. He couldn't quite keep up with how much my insatiable knowledge for the strange tended to be, and we parted ways. But he tends to have a soft spot as the one other person that made me feel less lonely when I was young.
Yes, I think that Larry sort of feels like a kindly uncle to you. You met him at one of his book signings when you stayed behind, and got
not many people's eyes light up when a woman gets excited about an educational topic. And,
yes.
And he's got quite a sparkle.
Yes, he's definitely a forward-thinking, progressive man. Did anybody else have a connection to Larry?
Yes, I would say that Larry has also I've been in correspondence with Larry regarding the topic of cryogenics, and we've had some interesting correspondence back and forth about the probability and likelihood of such a science existing, and I've always enjoyed the correspondence and felt it was a bit of a pen pal friendship, and that would be my connection.
Pen pals, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Larry and Millie would have one of those brief encounters that had like a powerful lingering effect. I could totally see Millie like circling his crowd every time he does a book signing, like a vulture. This is easy prey. They're ready to listen to stories. They're ready to be spooked. They're not paying attention to their pocketbooks. I mean, he's probably just really easy. His crowd is probably easy prey. I can imagine at some point she probably went into one of his lectures or one of his book signings and realized that he was the real deal. He actually has or is able to make contact with the supernatural. And with Millie's upbringing, my mama always says, you look, but you don't touch when it comes to the supernatural. She probably would have tried to give him that warning. Look, don't touch, don't play with that. That's dangerous. Look, learn, don't interact, don't touch. And obviously he didn't listen. So even though that encounter was brief, she probably is carrying some type of guilt on her shoulders. Like maybe I should have pressed that harder. Maybe I should have stuck that landing better. Maybe I could have done more for him. So very brief, but lingering effects with him.
Yeah, I think that maybe he was hosting a seance and you got an invitation thinking like, okay, I want to size up. I bet this is a scam. I'm going to watch my wallet at this event because I know what they're really doing here. And that's when you saw that he was the real deal.
Yeah.
And maybe a little terrifying. All right. There's one more letter that, Millie, you received this evening directly from the dispatcher that came along behind. This is on the letterhead of Danvers State Hospital. And are you able to see it in our other over on
Yes,
Roll 20? Awesome. Do you want to read that one as well?
Sure. So, Danvers State Hospital, 450 Maple Street in Danvers, Maine. Dear Millie, please disregard my earlier letter to you. I was having an anxiety attack. Everything here is fine. Please do not come here. I need more rest and counseling. Thank you sincerely, Lawrence Croswell. And she'll very flippantly toss the letter to the other two.
Lawrence.
Yeah, Lawrence.
Lawrence Croswell. Is it
And
his
it's all
handwriting?
typed. Oh yeah, is it his handwriting?
Is it his handwriting?
You know better than me, Peterson.
The second one is typed.
Oh, interesting.
Joe, give me a no roll.
A no roll?
Oh, sorry, your education. This is how well you know this guy is another way you can use that.
Okay, cool. And going. Ah, okay, neat. 20 out of a 65. So lower than my 32 half, but not my 13.
Well
Perfect,
done.
a hard success.
Hard success. That's the term. I couldn't remember the term. I was like, the middle one.
I got you.
Thank you.
As you look over this letter, as each of you noticed, Croswell never goes by Lawrence. He goes by Larry. All of you immediately caught this. But also, Joe, you know that he never uses a typewriter. Peterson, you would know this from your correspondences. Everything was handwritten. You recognize the first letter as his handwriting, but he very pointedly never used a typewriter. He would dictate his manuscripts from longhand notes to a hired typist.
It's more personal that way to write it out.
It's more personal, and also I don't know. One day when we were first meeting, Larry once told me that he didn't trust machines that wrote emotions. Like you said, less personal. I think he sort of assumed that having the separation between fingers left room for something else to sneak in. Typewriters can be haunted.
Well,
essentially.
He may have thought that, but we all know Larry had some strange ideas.
You don't believe in haunted typewriters, Peterson?
I've never myself personally encountered a haunted typewriter.
Yeah, give it time.
You arrive at the Danvers train station and are able to rent a vehicle. One of you is welcome to drive as you make the short ride from the train station to the Danvers State Hospital, also known as the Danvers State Lunatic Asylum. There's an image that you can see. It's that main one that's on the back of your screen there. And as you pull up, you notice several things about it. The winding drive up the hillside through the set of tall iron gates leads to the sprawling hospital. It has the central building with the front tower that's flanked by these angular adjoining wards. This layout is sort of reminiscent of a bat with outstretched wings. And you notice the copses of evergreen trees set off a ways down the hillside. Normally this should be a beautiful vista, but it's almost as if a cloud just emerged in the sky, but a cloud of feeling. It feels heavy here, like all of your senses are slightly dulled. Each of you roll for power.
Regular success?
Yeah.
I see a
Oh
face.
boy. Well, I failed mine.
Okay.
Me too, bud.
Millie, you feel a strong, palpable sense of dread. You do not want to go in this place. And one little sanity point is siphoned off
Oof.
as you feel something here is not right, as Larry's letter describes. As you look around, there is this oval water reservoir in the western slope of the hill. It's surrounded by trees on 3 sides, and the eastern shore faces the asylum. Do you walk up into the building?
Before we get out of the car, I just want to turn around to everyone and say, okay, I think we should make sure we are, of course, all on the same page here, that this, I'll brandish the typewritten letter. This is, excuse me, bullshit. And, I do not believe
Say it once
that
more with feeling, and I kind of
This is-
tap you on the shoulder.
this is bullshit. And
Yeah!
I do not think that Larry wrote this, and I don't think any of us think it. So, if they want him to receive more counseling, however, well, I think I can provide that, and hopefully it will help get us into where Larry is and figure out what's exactly going on. So, just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page there, that none of us believe that this is real.
No,
No.
not at all. But
We
are
don't
we
believe that at
are
all.
we agreeing to go in guns a-blazing, calling them out, or are we sweet talking them a little bit?
Oh, no, I think we sweet talk a little, was, or, maybe sweet talk isn't the right word, but I think we can work within the system, at least at first.
Millie, was that a hard...
I would like to just mention as a possible hiccup. Larry was under the impression that this letter was successfully sent out in secret, but apparently Danvers knows that's not the case. They may or may not be expecting us. That might be something just to put on our radars.
Good point, Millie.
Millie, was that a hard success on your power roll?
No, ma'am, it was just a regular success. But that one sand point still has her grabbing that gris-gris bag, that Haitian voodoo bag that's in her shirt, and like she just unclaps the little leather pouch and rubs her finger around a couple of those bones like, oh, mama, if you could see this place here.
When you do that, it does give you a little bit of comfort, and it does ease the pain of just being in this location just a little bit. You do feel it's hard. It's a disconcerting thought, but you feel as though the asylum itself, the walls of this building, are somehow aware of your presence. You were very much right in that assessment. It's almost like each window is a cold eye staring into your soul.
What happened to the 2 of us that failed our power roll?
Wow.
Because I desperately did. I got a 97. I just want to say that.
It wasn't a sanity roll. It was a power roll.
I know.
So-
I didn't know what that meant. For when
It's sort of, it's your skill that is an assessment of the supernatural or the Cthulian around
Oh,
you.
so that just means I'm oblivious.
We're
You
like
are
blindly
completely
unaware.
oblivious.
I'm
You-
used to being tingly and a little numb.
You think, wow, this place was probably nice when it was built, but wow, they haven't been keeping it up very well.
It's just
You
a
should
little
brush the
gray.
cobwebs.
All right. Well, I'm all for lying my sweet little buns off, and want to just say we got the letter and want to visit, just see how wonderful he's doing, and if not, then we get a little rough, or sweet talk, or whatever we want to do.
Do we want? We could say that we are friends of the family, perhaps, and we received the letter, and the family has hired me on for this. They were concerned about the anxiety. I've been sent in for more counseling.
Yes.
And perhaps you or other friends of the family sent for
comfort.
Yes.
Just comfort. If he's having anxiety, I bet seeing someone from the outside, even for a few moments, will make treatment better.
My professional opinion would be that yes, that would of course be be an appropriate form of treatment.
As you walk up the stone steps to the front hall, can everyone give me a spot hidden roll?
Okay.
I tuck my shirt in. I try to look more presentable.
Ooh, regular success for me. I rolled a 42 and my spot hidden is 50.
Peterson, you pause momentarily as you feel a tingle go down your spine, and you look out over the campus grounds. And as you look to the reservoir on the west side of the hill, the water looks strange to you. It's a deep blue-gray. It doesn't seem to be really reflecting the sun at all, and it seems to have a metallic sheen over the top of it, as if oil was spilled or something.
Well,
I got a regular success as well.
You pause and shudder as you notice the same thing, and perhaps you catch Peterson's eye.
I will pull out my journal again and quickly just take my glasses off and make a note. I'll check the time. What time? I'll check the time as well.
Jo so she's looking. She doesn't quite she doesn't. When she's comfortable with you, boundaries go out the window, and she just kind of leans her head over you to look at the notes while looking at the oil spill and just being like, think they're poisoning the water? Everyone's going a little funny?
Well, that's one hypothesis actually that I hadn't quite considered, and Peterson will add that to their notes. Glassy water, metallic sheen, poison.
Millie has just walked straight on in, had gotten enough of this building.
Millie had a great smile when she rolled her spot hidden, so I don't know if that was a good...
Great oblivious smile.
Jo comes running after you.
As you push open the front doors and step into the front hall, you're immediately hit with an antiseptic smell. Everything is grays and whites, very plain, lots of tile, echoing footsteps down any corridor. And there is a white desk in front of you and a woman sitting behind it. She doesn't look up when you come in.
Millie is actually appalled that a place of mental wellness is actually this bleak, and she can't get over the fact that she feels like she was being stared at by a building. Like she's got a bucket of ice that her spine is sitting in right now. So she will wait to approach the table until her comrades come in. Like she's on her way and she looks up, she's like, where are they?
As you pause, as you pause, you hear patients starting to moan all down the hallways and corridors, and screams, laughter, maniacal laughter, and just the sounds of the insane and the infirm.
Sorry, and Jo whispers in your ear, weird pond. You know how Peterson is. We gotta write it all down.
Yeah, I understand.
Helps me anyway.
Welcome customer service is waiting for us, and she gestures to the woman at the desk that's still not looking at us.
Welcome to Danvers State Lunatic Asylum. How can I help you?
Yes, hello. I'm Dr. Langley. You may have been expecting us. We are here to see Lawrence Croswell. Said actually better than that. That was Paula wanting to say Cromwell and knowing that wasn't the right name. We're here to see Lawrence Croswell. The family has sent us. Apparently there is a need for further counseling, and they felt it was in their best interest for someone of their choosing to perhaps do the evaluation and further counseling.
She wasn't really looking at you in the eye before when you came in. She was looking at her paperwork and then sort of looked straight past you. Now she looks at you. Can you roll for appearance as she sizes you up?
Oh boy. Yeah.
You got it, baby. You got it. You got it.
Sure don't.
Oh.
So this would be my appearance. That's so much of my left. Could I try and be intimidating with my glasses and my know I've already rolled. I can't talk you into a different check.
She stands up.
I failed it.
She's a very tall woman as she stands, just blocky and thick. As some orderlies pass by, two men, you notice they have an even thicker frame. Everyone who seems to work here is large and imposing. And she says nothing, just stares down at you, and then points to the three of you and says curtly, "Follow me." She leads you back into offices behind a swinging door, and she brings you to an office that says Dr. James Berger. Dr. Berger is the superintendent of the hospital, and he will now see you. Please enter. And she walks off without opening the door or doing any other introduction.
Thank you so kindly.
My mama would have torn that hind up, that type of manner, so I can't believe it.
I wish I met your mama.
Oh, you would have loved her, darling, I promise.
No, every story, it just gets better. Knock, knock, knock. Even though the door's open, I want to knock.
Come in.
Hmm?
You see a man of average build, white guy, late 30s, wearing a lab coat. He stands up and buttons the lab coat as you enter, and he picks up an officious-looking clipboard that you can see. It looks like just rows and rows of perhaps names. And the office has several framed diplomas and certifications, a very large desk, and overburdened file cabinets. In fact, file cabinets are spilling out all over the room, all over the desk. And you are?
Yes, Dr. Peterson Langley.
A pleasure. He comes around the desk and shakes your hand. It feels clammy and cold.
I'll hide that I feel that.
Your companions?
Yes, Joe Reeves, Millie Green. Here we have been sent by Lawrence Croswell's family. Apparently there is a need for more counseling, some anxiety issues, and they felt it was in their best interest as well as his to send their
Family
professionals
doctor.
of their own choice. Yes. Thank you, Joe.
Hi. Family friend.
Hello, welcome. I'm so sorry to tell you that Mr. Lawrence Croswell is not doing well of late, and he has been
That's why we're
recently
here.
committed to
We
the
are
J
here
ward.
to put a smile on my dear, dear uncle's face.
Yes, well, that would be nice, but in the J ward, it is for our most violent male patients. He's been quite excitable of late, you understand, and we cannot admit any visitors to the J ward.
Excuse me. As a doctor, educated at Princeton, I believe that I am the highest qualifications to deal with a patient in any state, especially a patient whose family has sent me, of their own accord, to examine him. Now, he admitted himself to this hospital, and I demand that you let us see him. Whether he is violent or not, I think I have the training to be able to handle any situation we might find ourselves in.
Are you trying to intimidate him?
Yes, I am.
All right, go ahead and roll for intimidate. What is Millie doing right now?
So while they're talking, Millie is just idling around, but what she's really doing is nose on the table and picking up and like mentally recording anything she can, patient's name, what he's been doing, dates. And she's especially interested on these diplomas on the wall. I mean, she's a con artist. She's always looking like, actually an insane asylum would be a great hustle. And then so she's doing mental photographs of what's on the desk, what's on the table while they're talking.
Give me a roll for spot hidden. Is Joe doing anything in particular?
Yeah, I know how to make myself quite small when I need to be, and like most people don't look, especially when someone's yelling at them. So I'm given while you're checking out the room, Millie, I know you know how to case a room, and so I'm gonna kind of just lean my head out a little bit to like angle down the hallway and spot hidden what I can tell down, like, are people spying on this conversation? Are there patients allowed to be roaming? Like, what's the vibe of the rest of this place?
Give me a listen roll to see what's
Ooh.
happening outside the door.
Yikes.
Peterson, how did your intimidate roll go?
Not great, a 65, and I need a 50 or lower, but I would like to justify to you a push on this.
How do you push?
Well, that would be I see that this is not getting us anywhere, and I look around at the disarray that these files are in, and I say, is this how you keep your files in your office? Now, I know that this is not up to standard, and actually, my close personal friend, Dr. Milford, I'm sure that you know them, Milford James. If I let them know that this is how your office looks, they may just come on down and shut this place down. You know that they're in charge in the state of all of the lunatic asylums. They have very high standards, and I do not think this would meet Milford James's standard. Said with a little more
You know Milford
convincing
James.
than I did in my improv.
Your improv was perfect, and let me say, you know Milford James, and you must know the overcrowding problems that we are having here at Danvers. And yes, it may be that I'm a bit overwhelmed as of late. I'll
Well,
let
if
you
you're
push...
still overcrowded, then why don't you just let us take one of those patients off your hands and offer our own counseling services?
You can go ahead and push the intimidate, but before you do, give me give me the roll for intimidate, and then give me a credit rating to see if you actually know Milford James.
Okay. I rolled, I think this is good. I'm so percentile dice. I rolled a 10 on the 10s and a 1. So that's an 11.
Yeah!
That's really good. That's
really
Oh,
good.
that is so close to an extreme that's a 1 away from an extreme success.
On the intimidate?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Great.
And then I'll do the credit.
Sure. As you're rolling for credit, Millie, how'd you do in your spot hidden?
Millie failed the spot hidden. May I push while this argument, this intimidation, this encounter is coming, just to kind of move and like finger at the diploma as if she's reading them closer so she can see better?
You actually don't need to succeed on the roll to see the diploma. It's from the University of Austin, Texas, which I don't know if that's a real university. I'm going to assume that it is.
Okay.
University of Austin, Texas.
I think so.
Yeah, is and it's for a doctorate degree. And the listen roll. How did you do, Joe?
I also failed, but I only by 8 points. So I will spend 8 luck to make that a success.
Okay.
And I will go down to 62.
As Peterson is yelling,
Rolling in luck.
yeah, you are. As Peterson is yelling intimidating things and name dropping various doctors, you lean backwards and put your ear up to the door, which is cracked open, and you hear 2 orderlies walk by and say, "He's up to something. He knows. That Croswell, he knows something. He'll be the one. Just wait. Just wait a few more days." As this, you hear it, get a little louder and then fade into the distance. And as you peek out, you see 2 bulky orderlies walking side by side. They take up almost the whole hallway. Just the 2 of them, shoulder to shoulder. Peterson, how did your credit rating roll go?
I think I rolled a 7. It's 0s and a 7.
Yep.
So if I'm reading the dice correctly, that would be an extreme success.
Holy bugs.
I have Sunday night dinners occasionally with Dr.
Yeah,
Wilford
you
James.
do.
Yeah, you do. You definitely
Yeah,
do.
you do.
We graduated in the same class at Princeton.
And Millie notices a framed letter on the wall behind him from Milford James as an accommodation as at his work at the University of Austin, Texas, and the asylum in Austin, Texas. And it's signed Milford James. You definitely intimidate the F out of him. I'm so sorry, Dr. Langley, was it?
Yes.
I did not know you were a close personal friend of Milford James, and yes,
Oh, yes.
I believe I could allow for a brief visit with Mr. Croswell if
So
that is
kind
what
of
you
you.
demand.
Thank you for the professional consideration from one medical professional to another.
Yeah, of course, of course. I hope you understand. It must be quick. Again, we are so overburdened here that we can't allow any interruptions for too long. It unsettles the patients. And he walks to the door, leans out, and calls the name of one of the orderlies who comes back and is waiting as he gives him instructions. And Millie, you have another chance to glance at the desk. How do you do so?
Come on, spot hidden. Love me, love me, love me. 18. We got it. That is going to be just a heart.
All right. By the way, if anybody, not on a push roll, but on a not push roll, if you succeed and don't need to spend any luck, go ahead and check that box next to the skill. And in our next session, we will do an improvement phase. You'll get an opportunity to improve that skill. Okay. So on the desk, you see a file that says Lawrence Croswell. And as he walks to the door, you lift it up slightly and you see a big red X and a stamp that says J Ward. And you also see a copy of the note that he sent to the sorority. It's not in his handwriting. It looks, but you notice a few key phrases immediately. You notice it has been copied down, and your suspicion was correct that they are aware of exactly what kind of letter he sent, and they seem to be aware that you were coming.
So as Dr. Berger is in the hallway calling for another orderly, and I kind of like flip that up, I see the X and the J Ward. I see a copy of the letter. Whatever's directly beneath it, can I just very quickly snatch that page and palm it?
Sure. You palm a page from his file to look at later. As you look up, there's one more strange thing you see. There's a curious painting of St. George and the dragon, but in this version, the dragon is mauling St. George, and his horse lies on the ground nearby, completely eviscerated. Gruesome image with its guts spilling out on the ground. The doctor turns around. Well, this orderly...
I jump back from the orderly that I heard say that, and instinctively just put my body between Millie and them, knowing in case she's snooping back there, I'm gonna provide a wall.
This is why I love working with you, Joe. This is why she always signs up for assignments with you.
Hey, we met because I couldn't keep my wallet on me. So the respect was born, and I will forever be in your debt because you are indeed faster than I am.
Give me a roll for stealth to see how good you are at blocking here.
Great. Stealth, where are you at? Oh, there you are.
Is that something you're skilled in?
No, it's not something I'm good at.
Okay, so just a base of 20.
So I just kind of like jump back, fumble, and go, oh, yeah. And like kind of like try to station myself, but make way too much of a like, I'm natural against the desk. I just kind of like bend and put my arm on the desk and just, hey, what's up?
Yes.
Something in my throat.
A family friend of the Croswells, you say? Yeah,
yes. I'm the black sheep.
Interesting. Well, he looks at you, Millie, in the eye for a moment.
Oh, for what it's worth, I'm not actually a family friend. I'm from the law offices of Cypress and Galloway. I'm just making sure to see where he is in his assessments. For estate reasons, you understand.
His estate? Is there a problem with his estate?
Well, it depends. Is there a issue or a problem with his mental well-being or his capacity to manage such an estate? Those are the questions I'm most curious about.
Oh, most definitely so. The asylum could take any sort of donations from patients if their estate is willing to do so.
That is something that I would love to have a private conversation with you about as soon as you get a moment. what Millie is trying to do is separate herself from family friend, and I have a more nefarious agenda. She's trying to relay, I'm in for something, not his well-being, to Dr. Berger.
Oh, so like I'm with you. I'm in on it. Give me a fast talk.
Right. Come on, Millie. Do the damn thing, Millie, as your dice fall to the floor. Ooh, 47. Ooh, 47 out of 50. Just barely made it.
Oh.
Nice.
His gaze softens at you as he says, "Yes, well, we'll have to have a one-on-one chat. In fact, there's many patients here that perhaps your law firm could be of aid in settling their estates."
Oh, very good, Dr. Berger. Very good.
Go ahead and check the
This is an
skill.
interesting portrait. I haven't quite seen this depiction of St. George and the Dragon.
Oh, yes, it's an original. It was a gift, you see, presented by the patients, by my caring stewardship of the hospital.
The patients painted it?
Well, yes, we once had a very talented artist. He's no longer with us, buried on the hillside, as many of the patients without families find themselves at the end of their lives.
Huh.
Anyway, this orderly will take you for a brief visit with Lawrence.
Thank you.
The pleasure is mine. If you don't mind, I must get back to work. The work never stops, you see.
Oh yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Anybody else want to look behind that painting really badly?
So you have no idea how badly.
Good.
I'm like,
Good,
man.
Millie. Good, Millie. You and me.
Oh, Peterson is too busy thinking about like the therapeutic value of having patients paint and whether there is any to even consider that there might be something behind the painting.
Is it
valuable
like,
for
are we really going to do this now, or
We give the eyes a like, later. Him first.
As that's happening, Peterson, you do notice one thing on the wall. There's a framed photo. It's a clipping from Salem News. Salem, to be a nearby town. And you see a younger and much different, just a happier looking Dr. Berger shaking hands with a bespectacled older man. The caption reads, Dr. James Berger takes over Danvers State Asylum from Dr. William Shine.
I'll notice it and go, this is a nice photo, Dr. Berger.
Yes, that was taken some years ago. 10 years, in fact. That was when I came here for the first time and took over for the retiring previous superintendent.
You look much better in this photo.
Oh God.
I was a much younger man.
Yes, that's what I meant. Just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Well, I bet you in your younger years. Anyway, tell Dr. Milford James that I send my regards.
Oh, I will, of course. And I see this is from the Salem News. Are you from Salem?
No. Texas originally. You could tell by my accent, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I thought I heard a little something.
No, it fades.
A little twang.
It fades quickly. I've been all over.
Yes, you've been here many years, and yes. All right. Well, congratulations on what I'm sure was a happy day and a lovely photo to commemorate it.
The best of my life, he says sullenly as he sits behind the desk. And the orderly in the hallway clears his throat. He's waiting to show you to Lawrence.
Yeah. I'm still pretty oblivious to the spookiness. I just kind of think people here are odd. They just got weird while I was gone. But this painting's weird, and it's making us all like, ew. And we were just talking about haunted typewriters. I just want to do a vibe check.
Okay.
Is there anything I've come across of like transforming a painting for mystical reasons or sort of defacing it. And then if there's anything I know from like occult lore of like altering a painting for sort of purpose or channeling the power of it or something.
Yeah, you can roll for occult as you look at the painting.
I like the way you're thinking there. That's
Thank
creative.
you. Okay. Yes, hard success.
A hard success on occult roll as you look at the painting of St. George and the Dragon with an eviscerated horse. As you walk over to it and you look closer, it mesmerizes you. You can't blink, you can't look away. The colors are so vibrant. And the reds especially just seem to pop. Are they painted in blood?
Yeah.
Oh.
I bet they are. Oh, boy.
Oh.
Joe, I need you to roll for sanity as this painting draws you in.
Oh, that's a failure.
You lose 1 point of sanity.
Okay.
It just, you feel that whoever painted this and why ever they painted it, they weren't controlling their own mind exactly when they did. They were under a sort of spell, possession. Maybe that's just artistry. Maybe that's the muse. But it seems like there were parts of the painting, the background, the landscape that was beautiful and calm, and then the brushstrokes of the horse and the mauling dragon feel like they were painted by the same painter but with a different mind.
Yeah.
Can you remind me, Becca, did you tell me the name of the patient who painted it, or was it just a patient who's dead now?
There is no signature on the bottom, and if you ask, the doctor can't remember.
I just want to make sure I didn't note it, and then I went, oh, I wonder if I should have. So that's all. Okay, great. Sorry to interrupt.
Your notes are very
Back to
thorough. He never said.
Okay. Joe, in pretty Joe fashion, doesn't advertise her sort of curiosity, but does kind of go, oh, that's a freaky painting, and just leaves the room. That's her way of announcing, like, bad. But her vibe is just like, oh, I hate it, and leaves.
As soon as you step through the threshold, the orderly turns and starts stomping down the hall, a different way from the one you came, through these snaking corridors. Do Peterson and Millie follow?
Yes, I will.
Yes.
I will follow. Yes.
All right. As the orderly keeps walking, you go through door after door, and the doors seem to have more and more locks on them. You see C ward, K ward, L ward, and when you get to J ward, the doors are pure metal, barred, a door with bars, and then another metal door right behind it. He has to lock and unlock, and as you hear the jangling of his keys on his side. And the other orderly that he had been walking with earlier, this is the one that Joe overheard speaking, falls in line, and they're buddies. They walk together, even though they don't really like play around. They're very serious fellas. And
Gentlemen, excuse me, may I ask you a question? Dr. Berger said that the J ward is for the most violent patients.
That's right.
Is there a specific incident that will cause someone to be sent to J ward? How violent does an incident need to be before they are sent here?
Hard to say. There's a lot of violence that happens here. Yeah, a lot of violence. Mickey the other day, he just got in a fight with a patient, and now that patient, he's in the J ward. They're not very smart, and you're not getting much from them.
Okay, I think that's
violent.
fine, gentlemen. No, that's fine. You don't have to keep talking. Just open the door. Such an asshole.
Oh, I love it.
You're
loving
amazing.
Peterson right now. So much.
I I'd like you all to roll. As you keep walking, there are the shrieks and sobs. As you're passing through the hallway, you see windows inside each door, and you can see people inside. Many are isolated. Many look dirty and dingy, as if they haven't been washed or cared for, or maybe even fed in very long.
Oh.
You can roll for either psychology of the patients or for spot hidden, depending on what you're interested in looking at.
I'll roll psychology.
Spot hidden.
That's a regular success on the spot hidden, 51 under 60.
You hear these shrieks and sobs and even giddy laughter. You notice the stench of urine and feces is barely masked by these very strong cleansing agents. And you see buckets full of just bleach, maybe, with mops leaned up against the walls, like not even put away properly. And you notice a shocking number of these patients are lacking fingers or hands or limbs, or are scratched. And if you and you notice on one of the orderlies a puffy red scar on his wrist. Did anyone else roll?
I rolled for psychology and I failed it because I was too busy thinking about how uneducated those two orderlies were to really notice the psychology of
If you
anyone
look,
around me.
the trees here maybe
Still
they make
talking.
people violent.
Yeah, it's fine. I said it's fine. You can. Thank you so much for the effort. But,
Okay, well, don't ask if you don't want to know.
well, I've learned my lesson.
I also failed my spot hidden roll, and I will justify that by saying we're about to go into a tiny metal room that is locked on both ends, and I am a smidge claustrophobic. So we are about to do a thing that I really don't like, considering both of these men are quite large, and there's going to be 5 of us locked in this tiny room in a minute.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's where my brain is. You see Joe starting to sweat, and it's not from the whiskey.
Yeah, the further you go into the building, there's no windows in the hallway here, and with each successive door you go through, as it clangs shut and they lock it behind themselves,
Pretty hot in here, guys.
you
Can
feel
you open
it.
a window? Maybe
is
build a
warm.
couple windows. Just saying. All right.
No one knows.
No windows, right?
Did anyone else have a roll that I missed? No.
No. We didn't do great.
We did bad. Hey,
Becca,
Mickey, we
can
did
I
a real
clarify
bad
something
job.
really fast?
Yeah.
Just as she's casing the place. So as we're making our way through alphabetically through the wards, they are locking the previous door before they open the next one. That's kind of like the routine.
Yeah, that's just,
So
it
there's no
seems,
straight shot of a run here. It's they lock everyone behind them.
it seems very by rote. They don't even stop to think about it. They know which keys and they do it quickly. Yeah.
Okay, so this hospital is in like a weird, dilapidated state. Are the locks trash too? Like, do I feel warm and fuzzy about these locks, or did they actually spend some decent money on the locks?
The locks are old, but they were built sturdy in the first place. They're long metal keys and metal locks, big ones. Like the one of these key rings that each of them has looks like it weighs several pounds.
Pounds. Same key for every door, different key for every door.
Give me a spot hidden. Oh, you did succeed on your previous spot hidden. I'll give you that one.
Yay, love you.
It seems like there's one hallway key that's opening
There's
a lot
one
of these
hallway
hallway
key.
doors. Yeah. As they step up to a room, you notice that the last metal door you went through said J Ward. And as they bring you to a room, he fishes for a key. It looks like many of the others, but he somehow has a way to distinguish them. And he bangs on the window. Croswell, visitors. Unlocks it and opens the door. You see Larry sitting on a cot, wearing a straitjacket with his arms wrapped around him, and he's looking down and just sitting, shoulders slumped. And he looks up gratefully when the 3 of you come in. Oh, my friends, my sweet friends. Oh, aren't you sights for sore eyes?
How you doing, Uncle? Want to run to him.
So
he gets the bit really quickly.
He stands and the orderly makes a move as he does. It's fine. And he sort of looks like he was gonna hug you, but then just nods at you and sits back down.
Can I hug him?
According to my professional opinion, the answer would be yes. And thank you, orderlies. We don't need you anymore. I am a doctor. Perhaps you've heard of Princeton, where I went to school. If you could just stand on the other side of the door, I think we'll be fine.
Give me a roll for credit rating with advantage, because you did really impress their boss earlier.
Nice.
Oh, I'm sorry, not advantage, bonus die. Which
I was
means
going to say, in this game, how do I do advantage? I cannot remember.
You don't. It's not a thing. I made it up. No one's ever heard of such a thing before. This is a bonus die. I played a lot of games, people. And you'll roll the tens digit twice and take the better.
The tens die. So that's the one with 2 numbers on it.
That's right.
It's like I've played this game before. It's not my first time, but there's something about percentile dice that breaks my brain.
It's fine. Hey, we're all friends here. We all float.
Ooh, yeah, that would be a 21. So that's a hard success.
I think you get to check that box if you haven't already.
Yeah, because I didn't. Oh, because I can't. There's no credit rating box.
That makes sense.
I'll make a note though.
Okay.
Just so I feel good.
Ooh. Good. Well, we'll discuss. So they definitely take your cue and they sort of grunt and then go wait in the hallway. And you can hear them walking down the hallway away as they open up the J ward door and go out. You hear one of them say, "I just don't like getting in that ward." And as he closes the door behind him. And you're left alone with Larry. I will say he closed and locked the room that you are in.
Okay.
And that will prompt a sanity roll from Joe. Yeah! But hey, you're with
somebody
your
said
friend.
she was claustrophobic.
It's on my sheet! I love starting with phobias. It's so much fun for the keeper to get to mess with you. Okay.
Thank you for reminding me.
Oh, you know I love it. Make this hard for me. Ooh, and I fail.
No.
I fail. I'm getting antsy. I don't like this place. I really don't like being caged. I just want to make a bold move and run. And as Billy established, we can't run.
When you hear the key click, your vision goes blank for a second, and you just, for a moment, feel that you are the one locked in this ward. You feel the way that Larry must have felt when they brought him to this ward after he checked himself in here, and you lose 2 points of sanity. And describe to me how you react.
Is this an extreme loss, or is this just a
no, just
slow
2 points. It was a D2 and you got 2 points. Which is a die I
will
made up.
say both Millie and Peterson have probably seen this look come across my face before, but for very different reasons. Millie, you will know that I don't like being closed in. And Peterson, you will privately know that I have a past history of being locked in a tomb before. And so that the clanking of the door and the smell, that musk of the lack of air and the darkness and the fear start setting in, and the sort of this starts and she starts like, hey, yeah. It's okay. I'm okay.
Larry looks at you. Hey, it's all right.
We're all right. We're in Massachusetts. We're in the asylum. We're in the asylum, and we're gonna get out.
I hope so.
Here, Larry. How you doing this? How are you in that? I can't even look at you. And she starts, like, her arms instinctively go around her like she's putting herself in this straitjacket of just comfort. She starts self-soothing a little bit, and mimicking his body language. How you doing? It's been a while.
Could Peterson notice this, and in their satchel they would have a small first aid kit, and perhaps there is a smelling salt or something in there, maybe almost like an essential oil that might have a nice smell that I could pass over, knowing that something like this might happen, could pass over to Jo to have her smell, and maybe that would help her center herself or remind herself she's not in a musty tomb, something like that.
Roll for first aid.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope you make this. That was such a good idea.
Same.
Yeah, you can have a bonus die because
I feel like Jo gets
Agreed.
reckless when she's scared. She's a caged. She gets a little like a dog. She's a bit like a dog.
Ooh, yeah. This is gonna go bad at some point, but I'm rolling really well. I rolled a 9.
Oh,
So that's an extreme success on my first aid. So
Yes,
I know
beautiful.
I have something prepped. Whatever, Jo, whatever your favorite smell is, maybe I have something like that in a little bottle. I already know
maybe
what
lavender.
it is.
Oh yeah, you know what it is.
Peterson would know, but
I think
Yeah.
lavender, has calming properties and makes
Yeah.
people go to sleep. And you have a vial of it that you pass in.
I'll just pass it with Jo. Just
yeah.
hold.
Yeah.
This,
You-
just,
you-
just
you
a
know
little
my-
waft it.
What level
Yeah.
of success was that?
It's extreme.
Ultra.
Oh yeah, with that, Joe, you
Yeah.
can gain 1 sanity back.
Woo!
Wow.
Okay, I will.
I'll be nice. I'll be nice.
Sorority.
You know what? I will justify that beautifully in game with a lovely storytelling of that my partner grows lavender in her garden, and I bring lavender with me on trips to remember. And so you pack lavender when I have panic attacks to calm me down.
It's like
I
we're all
love
best
it.
friends.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, stop. It's scary, and you're in an insane asylum. So these fuzzy feelings. You're in a small.
My
You feel
favorite live.
small.
For a
We just
brief
hug,
moment.
group hug and cry for
Yeah.
a second. And
Way
Larry's
less-
like, what is happening?
Larry gets up and even though he can't hug with his arms, he nuzzles your shoulders and
Oh.
I'm so grateful you're here. Something is very wrong with Danvers State Hospital. Look at the way these patients are kept. They're kept like prisoners. And each one of them is afraid of the staff, especially Dr. Berger, and I find the man unpleasant, but I'm not afraid of him in the way they are. I haven't been here as long. I feel that there's something unnatural about this fear. As soon as I desired to leave the hospital, that's when they moved me from. I had an upstairs room with a window. I checked myself in. I had it was a larger bed, even some flowers, a painting. Not here, not in this disgusting place. And you look at the walls. Were padded long ago, and at the bottom there's a black mold forming up the walls, and it's padded material.
The
I'm so
painting in your
scared.
room, was it normal?
It was
Good
just.
question.
It was just roll for occult.
Great question.
Nope, it's over. That's definitely a fail. Nope.
Just a landscape. It just looked like the rolling hills outside of this hill. Nothing unusual, but I know there's not very many patients.
Which hill?
The one down towards the reservoir.
The actual hills.
The one our
this
Mr.
location.
Picasso is buried at, maybe.
Yes, Mr. Picasso?
Oh, there was a painting in Berger's office. Grotesque. Dragon eating a horse.
Right, I remember that one when I first checked in.
They
Strange.
said the painter was a patient, but he's
Oh.
buried in the back.
Well, there's the side of the hill where those without families have been buried. I took walks on it when I first arrived, and then there's the amphitheater next to the reservoir.
Community theater productions here with the patients.
Maybe at
Shut
one
up,
time
okay.
that was the goal.
I'm sorry, Millie, did you?
Oh no, she was just after patients painted that monstrosity. She's trying to imagine what their theatrical productions would look like, and she just said,
Probably
I shudder
quite
to think.
macabre.
Yeah.
Hey, Larry, we're gonna do everything we can to get you out.
You must.
She's just looking around at everything, and she's trying to do the mental math of how they're gonna get out if this goes weird. And she's like, but just so you know, if we have to leave and come back in a different way, you know, if we're forced out or something, you gotta watch your back. I finally get to say now, but I eavesdropped on some of those orderlies. They may be dumb, but it makes them talk, and they mentioned you, and they know that you know, apparently.
That I
They
know.
said that you know that you figured it out.
No, I don't know. I don't know much of anything in here. All the days they bleed together. But
How did? Yeah.
I do
please
know
continue.
Dr. Berger. He threatened me. He said that I'm in for quite an experience when the sky prepares to welcome the new moon. Do you know how far away the new moon is? I don't know. In here, I haven't seen the daylight in days.
W-
Can we tell them
Probably-
the day and time?
yeah, one of us would probably know that. Right?
You
Yeah.
do.
Sure.
You've been writing it down.
Oh yes, it is. The year is
1925.
1925.
1925. What
to-
day and year is it? I know what it is. It is about 3:30 in the afternoon at this. No, it's probably about 3:00 in the afternoon at this point, I would say. But what day it is?
Can everyone give me a roll for natural world to see if you know when the new moon is? Or actually, you know what? Let's just make this an education roll.
Okay.
Because nobody has any skill in natural world.
Success.
You know, the new moon is a couple nights away. The full moon was about 2 weeks ago. It's the full opposite end of the spectrum.
Uh-oh.
I am
got 2
filled
days.
with dread when I think about the way he threatened me. A few days? I don't know what will happen in a few days, but if you can get me out of here before then, I think something very bad will happen to me if I stay any longer.
Larry, what exactly prompted them to change how they were treating you? Did you say something specific, or was it just the suggestion of wanting to leave?
It was just that. I just said I admitted myself, and I found the conditions here unsatisfactory, and the patients are not getting better, and I would like to withdraw, and then they locked me away, and I haven't been able. The letter I got out to you, that was through a friend, Mr. McBride.
Speaking of that, Mr. Croswell, I would trust Mr. McBride going forward from this point.
Don't trust him?
Well, the asylum became aware of that letter. They actually have a duplicated copy of it in their office. I can't say that Mr. McBride isn't trustworthy, but I personally wouldn't take that risk until we have some more information. Somehow they got their hands on that initial correspondence that you sent us.
Oh
But
no.
still let it be sent.
That's
Why would they?
unsettling news.
If they had got the letter, why would they let it be sent out?
How did you deliver the letter to Mr. McBride?
Oh, Andrew, he was my friend, the first fellow patient I befriended when I arrived. He's since been moved to H ward, and, well, he's as touched as all the others, but he seems to know what's really going on. Anyway, he had a brother come to visit him, and I asked if he would pass the letter to his brother secretly. I don't see any reason he would have betrayed me. Maybe he didn't know. Maybe the brother was searched, or I couldn't tell you. But I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you received it.
And they sent you straight from, I've admitted to myself I would like to leave, straight to J ward.
That's right. That's right. I'm in for quite an experience, he said. I shudder to think what that experience could be. And just then, the orderlies unlock the door and it swings open. Time's up.
Okay. Oh, I'm a risk taker. I'm gonna do my girl proud. I'm gonna put on the show and channel my anxious energy and like grab him and just, oh, it was so good to see you, uncle, and just like do this big elaborate like, oh, it's been a pleasure. And I want to try to damage his straight jacket with my butterfly knife. Just so if worse comes to worse, he might be able to wiggle out or do something to help us. I don't want him this vulnerable and just leaving him.
All right. I'll need. What would you like to roll? Because I see.
Would I roll my butterfly knife?
Sure. Yeah. I would say either sleight or hand, or since you have a butterfly knife skill, let's go with that.
I want to do specifically my my butterfly knife skill. Because I kind of keep it up my sleeve. I have like a secondary sleeve that tucks it almost like where you'd keep cigarettes, but it's under so that she can quickly just kind of like shake her arm down and grab it if she needs to. So that's what she did when she was like, uncle, grabbed it and wrapped, and then is kind of just like fucking with the back of it, like messing with it to make sure it gets kind of whatever damage the things.
Yeah, I'll give you a bonus die if someone else can aid in this.
Yeah. I was going to say, while this is happening, I will go over to the orderlies and say, now I'm going to need some additional information to be able to properly treat Mr. Croswell here. Who is the physician who was overseeing or is currently still overseeing his treatment?
There's just the one doctor, and
it's just one doctor. Is it Dr. Berger?
Dr. Berger, and then we have nurses and the orderlies, and that's who works here.
Oh, right. And
go ahead. You're successfully distracting them with questions. In fact, if you want to, we'll just give a bonus die to Joe with your butterfly knife skill.
How do I achieve a bonus die?
Roll the tens digit twice and take the better one. So, like, if you roll
the double?
A 19 and a 29, you take the 19. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, because that was bad. Oh my god, it was identical!
Oh,
wow. Okay.
You're not
72.
able. This material.
Can I push?
I'm going to say this material is very thick, and there are metal locks that tie him in on the backside, and the butterfly knife is not cutting it. You're worried that you would cut him if you were to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You could, but you may cut him.
I may cut him if I push.
Yeah.
I think there's just a better... I think I have a pretty wide chance of possibly making it. I have a high butterfly score. I just rolled high twice. So,
I don't know if you get a bonus die on the push.
I don't think I get bonus die on the push. I think a push is just regular, right?
Okay, give me a pushed roll.
Okay. I'm just gonna push. I'm gonna push it.
Push it.
Please, 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 please. And you can, and that's what she's saying in Larry's ear. She's just going, please, 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 please.
My dear, what? Please, what?
16.
Okay.
Oh, thank goodness.
You don't get to check it because it was pushed, but you do feel one arm lurch loose. As it's loose, he starts to hug you, and then
I grab him again and I hold him tight.
Yeah.
He puts the arm back and he says, "Thank you, my dear. This will be nice. I appreciate it." All right. Is there anything that Millie does?
Millie is just still sizing up the two big guys, and she's going through her mental exercise. Could I outrun them? Yeah. They're goofy. Can I get that key out of their pocket? The keys are just slipping in their pocket. They don't have it on like a ring or anything, right? They're not attaching it to the belt?
Attached to the belt. It's like, what is that? Collapsible. What's the word I'm looking for?
The line thing.
Yeah, they both have a heavy ring and an even heavier retractable metal wire is how they're able to pull it on and off so that if a patient did try and grab it, it would still be attached.
That's good information to know. The one that has that welt on his arm, can I get a quick, better look at that?
Sure. Roll for spot hidden.
Negative ghostwriter, 86 out of something that's nowhere near a 90.
You just see a red puffy scar. It looks like it's healing, but you can't tell how old.
Okay. While Peterson is asking all of these questions, who's the attending physician and whatever, I will try to make eye contact with them and just kind of like glance down at the wrist, glance up at Peterson, glance down at the wrist before turning around.
All right.
Trying to get their attention onto it.
So if you'll, I think Peterson would notice and go, excuse me, this looks, this on your wrist looks very painful. I happen to have a first aid kit on me. Can I give you something for it? I am, of course, a doctor.
The pain is fine. I don't mind the pain.
And he turns around and stalks out of the room.
Whoa.
Well, I failed at getting him to tell us more about Pat. I'll just look back at Millie like, sorry, I don't think I did what you wanted.
And she just gives you that super maternal there, it's okay, baby smile, because that was weird. Hey, let me treat your wound, and he just 180s out the room. That's creepy.
The other orderly looks at you and says, "Fight with the patient," and follows after him. Time to go.
All right. Well, Larry, we'll do everything we can to help you. And then I'll give him a nod and follow the orderlies out.
He gives a grateful nod to each of you in turn as you
How
leave.
many people are in J Ward when we leave? I just want to do a quick scan. How many people are put in this room?
Every window that you pass is full. Some rooms have 2 people.
Oh, all
in
of them are J Ward. All of the people we went past were in J Ward.
The ones, in fact, as you're walking through, there are slams against the doors as you walk by. There's yelling, there's crying, there's screaming. You were told by Dr. Berger that this was the most violent male patients were in this ward, and you definitely feel that that is the case, and it does feel overwhelmingly crowded. He also mentioned the overcrowding of the hospital, and you feel that being closed in all around you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are they all in jackets too? Or was that just ours?
J ward, people seem to be in straitjackets. As
all
you
in
go
jackets.
through a metal door, it clangs shut behind you. You go through the various wards with less security. They're not as restrained, and it is a little bit quieter, but still eerie, still bizarre laughter. And as you look in one room, you see the sunken eye sockets just staring at you from a patient sitting on a cot, staring into your soul, it feels, but they have no eyes, as if they've been gouged out. And when the 3 of you see this patient, please roll for sanity.
Oh, no.
Oh, thank goodness.
I rolled a 5.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm rolling very well. It's gonna end.
You're doing amazing.
Is
That'd
a
be hard.
doctor. Peterson is a
I'm
doctor. You
I've
are firm
seen,
of constitution.
I have pulled eyes out of skulls before in autopsies, so I've
Oh.
dissected them. This is normal.
I got a 29, so I've probably been in a couple bar fights where people didn't look so great after.
Yeah, definitely.
Millie is not doing real well. She has a thing with eyes. It's her most attractive feature that she finds in other people. There's a lot of mythology and lore and oral tradition around eyes in Haitian voodoo. And most importantly, her mama used to always tell her, you can spot a thief and a liar by the look in their eyes. So she has a big thing with eyes. And the fact that this patient is staring at her without eyes is really making her uncomfortable. She rolled an 87.
Ooh. It shakes you to your core for the reasons that you said, and you lose 2 sanity. As you continue walking through the hallways, you notice there are some group rooms. There are areas where it seems that these patients can move freely about the hospital. They aren't restrained right now, or at least it's a time of day where there's you pass by a cafeteria, and the orderlies say, "Okay, there's the front that way. We'll leave you here." And they walk off. And you could, if you wanted to, go into this cafeteria area where you see they walk in there and sort of take posts against the wall, and then there's other orderlies and some nurses in this area.
Hey, you guys cool if I take a couple waters, maybe an apple? I'm not good on a train, empty stomach. I gotta go back home. You cool? And she's already like trying to fill up a plate of food.
This is all taxpayer money that pays for state asylums, so you know I don't care what you do.
Oh, and I want to roll a spot hidden. Holy shnikes! Okay, I wanted to roll a spot hidden specifically, since I didn't finish saying, for paintings, since since Peterson seemed interested, Millie's interested, and usually when they're interested in things, they're smarter than me. I should be interested. And so I wanted to do spot hidden, and I rolled a 1.
Oh, God, nice.
Well, with that critical success, let me just
Wow.
Yeah, it feels good.
show you a picture of what you see as you come into the cafeteria. You see a patient sitting at one of the tables drawing on a sketch pad. And as you look over her shoulder, you see an obscene image. It's a creature, this dragon-like toad creature with multiple eyes. You can tell from the perspective in her crude drawing that this is a very large creature with imposing wings, spiked wings, and grimacing teeth. And it scares you.
I want to lock eyes with Millie and give like a
Oh, my.
Make sure you check that skill, by the way.
oh, I did.
And on a critical success, you look up and you see an orderly across the room next to there's someone being restrained currently and being taken out of the room. There's noise, there's overcrowding, there's so much going on, but you see someone is being removed, and so one of the orderlies is with a bucket and soap and a giant sponge washing off red paint from the wall, or you think it's red paint at first glance, and it looks similar to this creature. It is something with wings and many eyes.
Can I take a look at the patient who's being removed and see if it looks as though they perhaps have, maybe they're bleeding from somewhere that they would be drawing this with, maybe a medicine or a first aid, or even perhaps a spot, whatever you.
With your skill in medicine, when you look, you see the patient, they're bleeding from their left wrist, and their right hand is covered in red as they're holding it. Or
Left wrist?
Their left wrist is cut, or at least smeared with blood, and their right hand that looks like what they'd been painting with.
Same wrist as the orderly?
Yes.
Hey, cutie. I want to do the one that's not restraining the guy and go, this is beautiful. How much?
To the, like,
I want to ask the
standing
orderly
above
that's not restraining the patient and be like, how much?
for the smears of blood on the wall.
No, the painting that I found.
Oh, yes. There's a woman sitting in front of you that, you can see that one, right?
Yes.
Sorry?
There are some
The woman-
patients sitting. Yeah, the woman is drawing on a sketch pad. The orderly walks over to you.
Oh, forgive me. I thought the picture you were showing me there was a picture of a woman sketching.
There are two
There is an-
images. One is in blood on the wall, and one is someone sitting at a table sketching.
Yes, I want to ask that person for their sketch and pay them.
I have to keep trying. She doesn't
How
look
about I
up.
finish it?
No, I have to draw. It's in my dreams. It's in my sleep. I have to draw it.
Hey, I had the same dream. I can help you. Finish it. I want to get down on her level. Because now she mentioned dreams and I'm wigging out. So I had the same one.
Roll for psychology.
Oh, this is going to go bad.
Or you could maybe try and charm her or persuade her.
Can I charm?
Yeah.
I'll charm.
But because she's in this state, it's going to need to be at least a hard success.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just trying to get as much stuff so we can talk about it and dissect it and let them do their beautiful, brilliant things on them. Not terrible. Is it good enough? Hard success. Okay. No, there's no way I can pay down to a 17. Okay. No, I don't.
You can't have it. You can't have it. Okay. It's mine. I need it. I need it. It's a gift. It's a gift. It's a gift. I can't wait till the new moon. The new moon. It's a gift.
Who's it a gift for?
One of the nurses notices this exchange happening and comes over, says, okay, that's enough for you. It's time for you to lie down, and hustles the woman up and says, okay.
Sorry, didn't mean to disturb you. Just liked your picture.
She gives you a sharp glare. And in fact, you notice it was the woman who was previously at the front desk. It seems like the patients far, far outnumber the staff. If they weren't so imposing of individuals that worked here, they might be having a tougher time.
Yeah.
I wink at the nurse out of spite and then turn around and run to Peterson as calmly as possible and kind of put my arm around you. Mm-hmm. And then you ready to go? But then she leans into you and starts whispering every detail that she can try to muster to remember from the picture. Like how many eyes, the stature, I think, and just
Peterson's will pull out their journal and just like jot down.
Like wingspan, about that. About 6 eyes.
6 eyes.
And just rambling to you because she's definitely not going to remember in 5 minutes.
And gift.
Excited
gift. About new moon.
Also new moon. Yeah.
Interesting. And the same, the blood that's being washed off the wall. I'll go, does it look like this? Yeah. All right. Is there anyone, Becca, around, any patients that look like they might be like the most reasonable looking patient who I might be able to have like a rational conversation with, possibly? Is there anyone who would fit that description?
Roll for, I don't know, spot hidden.
Sure.
I would say luck, but I know you don't.
Right.
I'm not very lucky. Nope, 94.
Everybody looks just in their own little worlds. No one seems to be making eye contact with you or even really aware of your presence. I mean, the woman didn't look up from her drawing until you got eye level with her and spoke directly to her.
And to get Millie and Joe's attention, just go, did anyone notice H ward as we were walking back from J ward? Do we know where that is?
It's kind of hard to get a layout around here. I get the sweats every time I try to make sense of it.
It's quite large.
They seem to be taking the patients out one by one, and one of them tells you, "Hey, the visiting hours are over in the next. It's 5 o'clock, and this is where we need to put patients to bed now."
Yeah, we'll get out of your hair. Was it Miss Green? Didn't you say you wanted to make an appointment with the doctor before? Maybe we could schedule it for tomorrow. Delay our time.
There's a super vacant.
Yeah, I could tell that you're not.
On Millie's face, like she's physically present, she is not emotionally and psychologically present right here. So, like, there's a hard.
Yeah, I'm trying to ground you.
Yeah, there's a blink, and she says, "Yes."
Yeah, but the lawyer.
Yes, I do believe that was the case. That office was right around this corner, and she goes the wrong direction.
Oh. I think it was that way, right?
You can't just wander these halls.
Understood. So, would you be so kind as to take me to Dr. Berger's office for just a quick moment? I need to get on his calendar.
Well, yes, I'm sure that I could show you where the office is, but I can't promise you he has time. He's very busy in the afternoons, especially. Peterson, as you're starting to leave, you are slammed against the wall of the cafeteria. A huge hulking patient. It just is screaming, "You know! I know that you know!" and shoves you against the wall. Roll for Constitution.
Oh, Peterson.
I'm gonna get so hurt.
Oh, Peterson.
Oh,
Oh no, I can never remember. I rolled a 10 and a 0.
that's a 10.
Oh.
That's
Okay.
a 100. That's a critical fail.
That's
Wait.
what I've.
No, wait, the 0, 1. Yeah, that's a
A
10.
1,
Got a
0,
10.
0.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
never
Sorry,
remember.
triple zeros are bad. That's a 10.
Yeah, that's just a 10.
Okay, I can never. It's the 10. I can figure it out on everything except for when I roll a 10 on the
Yes.
10 die. Okay,
Yes,
a
thank
10.
you, Chad.
A 10. Thank you, Chad. Oh, I didn't want to
Jesus.
die out. My constitution is 40. It's not good. So that is somehow miraculously a hard success.
Oh, wow. You are shaken, and he's reeling back to punch you, and we'll let that double for a dodge roll as well as you duck out of the way, and his fist goes into the tile of the cafeteria wall and shatters it. Before two orderlies rush over and restrain him, and he says, You know, what do you know? What do you know?
What do you know? You know something. What do you know? Tell me what you know, and I'll tell you what I know.
He sees all. It sees all.
It.
He
With its 6 eyes?
So many eyes. They drag him and he's kicking down the hallway. Okay, time to settle down. Lost the orderly's voice. It was lower. Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. You don't take any damage, but you are shaken.
Oh, Peterson.
I want to bolt out of the room.
Yeah.
As soon as I know Peterson is safe and the orderly's on, I'm going to pretend to get scared and bolt out of the hospital onto the grounds.
You open the doors, and as you lean over, panting after running through the building, there's a puddle on the ground in front of you.
Yep.
What do you want to do?
Well, I have pocketed a bunch of food and I've scooped a bunch of drinks. I want to take another, one of the paper cups that I have hoarded from this place. And my intention was to go scoop some goo out of the lawn, out of the thing for Pete.
Oh, yeah.
But if it's right here, is this oily? Peterson.
You look at the puddle in front of you, and something from the bushes, something black and slithering with, is that 6 legs? It just dashes so quickly before your eyes can even adjust to the light outside and dives into the puddle.
Oh,
Something
into the puddle?
reptilian. Something large, too large to have dived into what looks just like a puddle on a rainy driveway.
Nope,
And
don't like this.
the pool ripples as something disturbs the water, and
can I cautiously, kind of timidly walk toward to see how deep this puddle is?
as you get close enough to see,
I know. I've got a butterfly knife.
it has that.
I take it out a little.
The tint of this water is that odd blue-gray as well that defies explanation or chemical analysis that you can see at first glance. It looks about 3 inches deep, and you can't see through this water, but you can just tell the shape of the driveway beneath it. And please roll for sanity.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh, no.
It's an 89
Oh!
out of, I think I'm down to 43. About 43.
Lose 1 sanity. His
enough.
The lavender is gone from my mind.
You're out in the open air. You look up. You see the trees down below. You see this odd water reservoir, but you smell the fresh air, and you shake it off. You think, you don't shake it off. You know you saw something that shouldn't have been able to go in that puddle. But now you're out.
Yeah. She was about to kick a rock in to see what would happen. And when she clearly goes, and she starts walking away, and she's like, I may not be smart, but I'm not that dumb. And she like starts running back to the car, and she's just like, I'm gonna wait in the car. And she's like, bye.
Where are Millie and Peterson?
Millie is going to, I mean, that whole fracas was a lot, but it was almost like an echo background noise. She's still really freaked out about the eyeless patient, but she's going to make her way to Dr. Berger's office.
Sure.
Oh, boy. Okay.
As you're heading to Dr. Berger's office, and then Peterson, do you run outside? Do you head to the office? Do you do something else?
I look and I go, and knowing that Millie seems more shaken than anyone else, I'm not comfortable leaving her alone, so I will follow after Millie.
Okay.
That's smart.
Roll for stealth, if you would, as you retrace your steps that you took following the orderly earlier. Millie, you can roll. Yeah, I just need, yeah.
She rolled a 5.
Please
good,
check
right?
your stealth.
You don't need me to roll stealth.
That will be good enough for
5.
both of you.
Good.
Nice.
Yeah, Millie, you stop Peterson as you hear footsteps passing by in the hallway you're about to turn down. And then you follow. As you go into Dr. Berger's office, no one sees you enter. And when you look inside, the doctor is not there.
What are we doing, Millie? What are we doing here?
Well, originally, I think before the fracas, I just wanted to get on his calendar, but if we do have an opportunity to nose around, and before she even finishes that sentence, she's just going to slip right in while she's got an alarm basically standing on the outside of the door.
Sure. And then perhaps in this moment, you remember the piece of paper you grabbed as you see Lawrence's folder still sitting on the desk. The third page down, there was the copy of the letter. There was his just profile that said he'd been moved to J Ward with a big stamp. And the final page is a handwritten journal from the doctor that it's notes saying he needs to be given. And the more pain, the better.
Oh,
One
my.
so healthy is so rare in this place. This will be a most perfect offering. And as you read those words, a chill goes down your spine. You hear the honk from Joe in the driveway, urging you to leave, as you know something is very awful is going to happen to your friend Larry if you don't help him. And the three of you head away from the asylum for now. And we'll find out what happens next week.
Larry! Oh my God!
Thank you so much for playing with me today, friends. I'm so excited at how many creepy things I got to make happen to you, and we'll be right back here next Tuesday as well. We usually do Wednesdays. We're moving to Tuesdays because schedules, and this is a 4-parter. So make sure you tune in for the other 3 parts to find out. Will Larry escape? Will these 3 get themselves into more trouble than they can handle?
Yes.
Probably.
What
More than likely.
was in that puddle?
First
and
part guaranteed.
why?
Oh, the puddle!
Why does it have that gene? We're
It was
also,
a huge. If I succeeded on that sanity,
Oh,
I was
save
gonna
it.
do bad things.
save it because we're going to do a little talk back for patrons for the Good Time Society. If you want to become a patron, you can go to patreon.com/goodtimesociety. And whenever we do an episode like this, we'll do a little talk back for you there. You can find all kinds of other stuff. We do an early release of our Star Trek The Next Generation rewatch podcast, To Boldly Watch, that goes up on for patrons early every week. And a huge thanks once again to Chaosium Inc. They are the publishers of Call of Cthulhu. Obviously, we're all big fans. Bridgett is their community manager, community
ambassador.
Ambassador, thank you.
Ambassador.
Yes, the latest community ambassador for Chaosium, and you should definitely check out all of Bridgett's work for them as well. All right, folks. Stay spooky out there. Oh, and don't forget, if you do want to purchase items from chaosium.com, such as Doors to Darkness, where this scenario came from, use offer code Calyx S3 Season 3, and you'll get 10% off at checkout, and that lets them know that we sent you, and so we appreciate so much when you do that. All right, friends, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.